It's
There we
very,
go.
very exciting. And
Wow.
so with that, I'm going to mute everyone. And then Miss Patty Yoon, pop on in, gal. I'm so excited to see you this morning.
Well, good morning and good morning, Unity of Wichita, and welcome to our Sunday morning experience. I am Patty Yoon. I will be your platform leader today. We have sharing our message is Reverend Dr. Paul Hasselback. Music is by various artists. Our meditations and affirmations is by Sam Jones. Our prayers are by Art Handy, and behind the scenes as our Sunday morning video producer is Jessica Maldonova. I'm probably messing that up. Maldonada. One day I'll get it right. Anyway, we welcome everyone and let's give them all a hand. Yay. And thank you for being here. What a blessing. What a blessing. Our greatest desire is that you are inspired by the music, the message, the meditation. You are a blessing to us. And this is the month of dominion. The power of the month is called dominion. And that is the power to have mastery over our lives, to dominate, to control, to get things done. And that is the power of the month that we will now share our mission statement together. Inspiring spiritual transformation as a vibrant, diverse, and inclusive community. And with that same power of dominion, let's say our statement of being together. There is only one presence and one power in my life and in the universe, God the good, omnipotent. Once again, we want to welcome everyone who is here this morning, who's connected with us. We especially want to welcome those of you who are here for the very first time. We hope that we bless you in every way. We hope that we all get together soon. In fact, it's happening. Keep your fingers crossed. I'm very, very excited. It's just wonderful. Unity is a worldwide ministry dedicated to the ongoing awareness of the spirit within all. We invite you to consider our teachings. If they work for you, fit into your life wherever you may be on your spiritual journey, keep what works for you and gently release the rest. We will now bless everyone who is watching. We love you. We bless you. We appreciate you. And we behold the Christ as you, just as you are. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. As we ready ourselves, excuse me, as we ready ourselves for a brief time of prayer, just wanted to acknowledge a few people in our spiritual community and ask that we continue to wrap our loving arms around them with prayers and warm thoughts. Continue to hold Edith Knox in prayer for the recent transition of her daughter. We're also thinking of our beloved Keith French this morning, because Keith experienced that the loss of the transition of his beloved brother. So I'd like for you to hold Mr. Keith French in prayer. And on a wonderful note, a few weeks ago, I called to mind our beloved Erica Lilly and shared that her mom recently received a cancer diagnosis, where I am happy to report that on a follow-up examination, she was determined to be cancer-free. So on behalf of Erica and her family, I wanted to thank you all for the prayers for her mom and continue to ask you for prayers for her and her mom. So we'll now just take a brief moment. Just open our minds and our hearts to the ever presence, always presence of spirit. The divine is fully and completely present right where we are. In this awareness, we acknowledge our innate divinity. And we acknowledge the the innate divinity of all people and all beings. We're grateful for Unity of Wichita, grateful for each other, grateful for this wonderful spiritual community. And we open and avail ourselves to divinity and all that is entailed in our divinity: the love, the wisdom, the beauty, the understanding. We embrace it all, for it is ours to embrace. We make a demand, a claim on our divinity, and we say yes to its unfoldment. We say yes to the unfoldment of love within us and allow it to express through us and as us. And we behold that in all beings. We just allow that to infuse us. And we allow all the blessings to flow forth. We say yes to our divinity. We say yes to love. We say yes to life. We say yes to beauty and understanding. We say yes to the divine experience. We hold our world in the light. We hold ourselves in the light, knowing peace, knowing real connection, and knowing wisdom. And in the name and in the nature of the Christ within, together we say, and so it is. Amen. And before we go on into our music, wanted to do a brief acknowledgement. Tomorrow is Memorial Day. And so we just wanted to take a moment to pause and reflect. Of course, Memorial Day is a special sacred day each year that we pause and reflect to remember all of those human beings, those beloved human beings that made the ultimate sacrifice of their lives in protecting the safety, in ensuring the safety and protection of our country. And so it is always wonderful and is always necessary to remember these beautiful men and women. Memorial Day is a holiday that had its start towards the end of the Civil War. It first started off as Declaration Day, where those who were formerly enslaved gave honor to those who fought in the Civil War to help ensure freedom, not only for those who were formerly enslaved, but for all people. And so from the time of the Civil War, it got metamorphosized into Memorial Day, where we remember all of those who served our country and made that most ultimate of sacrifices in the protection of our country. So for all of those that served, and for all of those families who had to endure the loss of their loved ones who served, for all who served and gave that sacrifice and their families, we say and affirm that the light of God surrounds you, the love of God enfolds you, the power of God protects you, and the presence of God watches over you. Wherever you are, God is, and you are loved. Thank you.
Do you know how much you matter? Do you know that you are loved? Do you know you've made a difference in the lives you've touched? All the times you felt unworthy in the darkness of your soul, and all the lies you've told yourself, just let 'em go, let 'em go. 'Cause you matter. You matter. I can't imagine all you've been through, 'cause I've not walked in your shoes. But you will always have my heart, and I see you. You matter. You matter. Feel it all release. It's there you'll find your peace. You'll find your peace. Do you know how much you matter? Do you know that you are loved? Do you know you've made a difference in the lives you've touched? 'Cause you matter. You matter. You matter. You matter. You matter. You matter.
You matter. Those loved ones that have been lost over the years that we honored this weekend through Memorial Day, and those of us here in this space. We matter. And as we take this truth into our meditation this morning, I invite you to simply allow your heart to be present. And I invite you to close your eyes, take a deep breath. And as you exhale, simply allow those words to be in your consciousness. You matter. I matter. Those who have come before me in this country, in this world, who made the ultimate sacrifice to show us how much we matter. So I invite you as we go forward in this meditation to simply allow your breath to guide you into a relaxed presence. With each breath, realizing an even greater peace and wholeness. And allow my words to simply be your own, and those that are not for you will simply vanish. Every breath I take, I am grateful. Every breath I take reminds me that I was brought here in this present body, in this present experience, to be unique. Every breath I take, I know that I matter. I matter because my heart is open. I matter because my life is unfolding. I matter because I reconnect to the truth of my divinity. I speak once more into the life and the light of this space within my heart and mind that, yes, I matter. And I move into the silence knowing these words resonate within my heart, my mind, and it is my truth right now. I invite you to take a deep breath in. And in this present moment, as you breathe, I invite you to draw into your awareness the power of the breath, the power that rises within you as you reclaim the truth of your divinity, of my divinity. Speak those words in your mind's eye. I breathe into the power and the truth of my divinity. Remembering the truth of my divinity guides me to self-mastery. I rise to awaken the power of dominion in my life. I invite you to take another deep breath. And as you return into the awareness of this time and space, I invite you to speak these affirmations with me. Remembering the truth of my divinity guides me to self-mastery. I rise to awaken the power of dominion in my life. And so it is.
So it is.
And so it is.
I close my eyes, I open my heart, I'll take a deep breath, let the healing start. I lift my hands, I plant my feet, I let love in, I feel the beat that's calling us to rise, rise, spirit rise up, rise in me. I let in my soul, I clear my mind, I'm here and now, in present time. I feel the power of 1,000 suns lighting up the dark. Oh, we rise as one. Oh, rise, rise, spirit rise up, rise in me. Oh, rise, rise, spirit rise up, rise in me, rise in me. I sing to you, I sing to you, you sing to me, you sing to me. Change up this noise, make sweet harmony. Come on and rise, oh rise, spirit rise up, rise in me. Oh, oh rise, rise, spirit rise up, rise in me, rise in me. Heart to heart, hand in hand, no turning back, onward to promised land. Do you feel the power of 1,000 suns lighting up the dark? Oh, we rise as one. Love's calling, calling out your name. Love's calling. That's why we came. Love's calling. Come reach for the sky, going up higher, yeah. Rise up, come on, raise your voice and shout. Love is alive, bringing the light brighter, brighter. Rise up, come on and rise up.
Wow. I hope you were rocking to that as much as I was. Okay, I'm going to screen share. And I trust someone will tell me if this isn't working. So I always begin with this slide. My website is paulhasselbeck.com. My podcast is metaphysicalromp2.com. And my email is alberthasselbeck@gmail.com. Please feel free to email me about any questions you have about metaphysics. And of course, I am honored to be Unity of Wichita's Minister of Record. And you might even consider getting your telephone out and using it to take pictures of any slides you find interesting. So let's get romping with this topic of dominion. I'm beginning with this. Jesus said, you must know the truth and the truth shall set you free. And Charles said, the truth about yourself. And I've been around long enough, you know, this is my central theme. So my lesson title today is Powerfully You. And of course, we're talking about the power of mastery, and as I prefer to call it, the power of dominion, because it's a little clearer. It always sounded funny to say the power of power. And of course, we say there's only one power and one presence. And then people wonder, well, if there's one power, why are we talking about the 12 powers? And that's because the one power that our divinity is a power that contains all powers. And as a review, power is our ability to master, control, dominate, and have authority. And therein lies the rub, because power gets a bad rap. Dominion gets a bad rap. And when we say the word dominate, a lot of people want to run in the opposite direction. However, Charles said, do not fear to develop your power and mastery. They are not to be used. I'll repeat that. They are not to be used on other people, but on yourself. Now, there is an appropriate use of power or dominion over others in very particular situations. So with our children, we want to control them in some ways. We want to move them around in ways that are supportive of their growing up and maturing into adults. And then, of course, when we adults mature to an age where we need to be supported by others, it's appropriate for others to have power over our personal lives and how we move forward to protect us. And of course, when we go to school or we're at work, it's appropriate that our boss has some marginal control over us, or our teachers have some power over us. It's just part of the way society works. So many of us have heard this phrase, giving our power away. I wonder how many of you have heard that idea, giving our power away. Well, that's exactly what I'm talking about when we go to work. That's exactly what we're talking about when we go to school. Sometimes we give our power away to somebody else in our own household. Now, there's an important thing to think about this, because sometimes we metaphorically give our power away to somebody else, and it ends up not being such a good idea. So if we think of this metaphorically, when we give our power away, we don't really give it away. We always have it. We're actually giving it to someone else. We're loaning it to them. Much like when you go to a bank, we loan our money to the bank. While it's in the bank, it's the bank's money to use, to invest, to do whatever it wants with, but it's still ours until we take it back. So it's important for us to use wisdom and understanding in our use of power, especially in giving our power away. And if you've given your power away and you're not getting the return you're expected, at those moments, we should have the wisdom to take it back. And then, of course, we cannot talk about the power of dominion or the power of the mastery, without talking about the abuse of power. And today is a very appropriate day to be talking about the abuse of power, since tomorrow is the 100th anniversary of the Tulsa Massacre in 1921. That is an event that got buried. That was an event that got ignored. And it's really important we bring these back into our individual and collective memories so we remember what abuse of power looks like. And it's not as if we don't have local and current examples either. For example, what happened with the attacks on the Capitol just a few months ago. And we see abuse of power by police, by robbers, by assaults of all types, in wars, and by partners. So when we're talking about this power of dominion, this power of power, it's important we do not ignore this misuse of power. And so let me go a little deeper into this idea of power. And my slide set, there it goes. Here's some important quotes from Charles Fillmore. And it's important for us to always remember that God is not doing stuff. So God does not exercise power. God is power. God is the principle of power. And it's man, it's you and I that are powerful. And not only humans, there are animals that are powerful and exercise their power over other animals. And the thing is when that power is manifested by us, by man, it becomes conditioned. And what is it conditioned by? It's conditioned by our past experience. It's conditioned by our thoughts, our ideas, the beliefs and images we have stored in our conscious mind and our subconscious mind, and to a degree by those beliefs that are lodged in the collective consciousness. So again, we have to bring our wisdom on board. We have to use this power, use this dominion appropriately. And Charles reminds us in Jesus Christ Heals, this power can be used by man to oppress one another. And this is about the inappropriate use of power. And so it's important for us to remember, though, a person, you and I, can never exercise dominion, which is the supreme authority not over others, but over ourselves, until a person knows, until you and I know who and what we are. Yes, this is my theme. The who is our humanity, the what is my divinity. And if we don't remember our divinity, we will tend to misuse our power, our principle of power, our principle of dominion. And Charles, I'm sorry. So I want you to put this in the first person. I can never exercise supreme authority until I know who and what I am. Say that with me. I can never exercise supreme authority until I know who and what I am. It's so important for us to take these quotes from Charles Fillmore and personalize them, where they become a kind of affirmation. And so, as a reminder from something I said earlier in the talk, our dominion is over our own thoughts, our own emotions, our own passions, over our own lives, and over our own bodies. Now, when I say thoughts, I mean thoughts, ideas, beliefs, and images that I'm holding in mind or consciousness. When I say emotions, I mean more than emotions. I mean our feelings, I mean our perceptions, our experiences, and our attitudes. So if you think about it, we are the ones, I am the one that has dominion over my own consciousness and my own body. And aren't we back to that idea of self-responsibility, radical self-responsibility? And even when we're misusing our power of dominion, we have to take self-responsibility for that in order to change, in order to grow, especially in order to spiritually grow. So in Teach Us to Pray, Myrtle and Charles said, we must all step forth and assert, all authority hath been given unto me in heaven and earth. Let's say that together. All authority hath been given unto me in heaven and on earth. That's because we are innately divine. And when we speak about heaven and earth, we're not talking about the place somewhere far away that we learned in Sunday school. And we're not talking about the physical earth. We are talking about heaven as a higher state of consciousness, even divine ideas, because you and I have dominion over divine ideas. You and I have dominion over the 12 powers. It's up to you and I how we use them. And then what is earth? Well, we can actually think of it in two ways. Earth is sense consciousness. Those are the thoughts and ideas, beliefs and images and feelings and emotions I'm holding in consciousness, more related, more connected to what I'm sensing, what I'm aware of, what I'm perceiving, what I'm experiencing through my five senses. What we're experiencing through our five senses are outer events. So that's a tip. There are outer events and there are inner experiences. I may not have dominion over the outer events, but you and I have absolute dominion over the inner experiences we are having. So again, our dominion is over our own thoughts, emotions, and passions. That's where we're supposed to use it. So who is the king? Who is the queen? Well, you are, and I am. And the center of our consciousness, the I am, we could say, is our king. And this is the interesting point. The I am has power to just the extent you have the courage to assert your power over your earth, over your sense consciousness, and over your body. Because the I am, your divinity, God, principle, whatever you call it, you're the one that's using it. It does not use you. Man is the power of God in action. You are the power of God in action. You are using the power of power. You are using the power of dominion. And so I want to remind you of this quote that I've used before. Charles said, there is but one power. We use it as we will. If we send it out by our thought and word in hate, it destroys. If we send it out in love, it builds. Think about that. If I use my wisdom and understanding to send it out in love, it builds. And then he goes on to say there are not two powers, but two ways of using power. And of course, we're referring to it here as the power that contains all powers. And here's another interesting and cautionary reminder about our use of power. And this comes from one of my favorite early writers in Unity, E.V. Ingraham. So he said, everyone already has all the power there is. You don't have a piece of power. You don't have a part of power. You have all the power that the divine is. But they have either repressed their forces or directed them in wrong channels. They have had the power to demonstrate disease in the face of omnipresent health and poverty in the presence of inexhaustible substance. This is how I say it about how powerful you are. Powerfully you. You are so powerful that in the face of the truth of life, health, and wholeness, you can and you do manifest illness or disease. You are so powerful that in the face of the truth of substance, which is all divine ideas, you can and do demonstrate lack, because how we use those divine ideas is entirely up to you and I. And that's why we have to clean up the stuff, those thoughts, ideas, and beliefs and images in our consciousness that get in the way of us expressing our divinity in the clearest, most useful and helpful way. So on this eve of Memorial Day, we have to remember that there are times when power is used appropriately, and there are times when power is used inappropriately. And at this moment, we want to remember the dominion, the power that each soldier, each man and woman used over their thoughts and feelings in order to go into war. That's a major thing. And then when they died, the dominion, the power their loved ones used to carry on. And then, of course, as we're moving out of this COVID pandemic, just think of the way you've used your power of dominion to move through this time, through the lockdown, through maybe you were sick, others were sick. We use that power of dominion every day in magnificent ways. And now, as we're looking forward to opening the church and serving a greater community now, greater than who just shows up on Sunday morning, but people who can show up of Zoom in this hybrid way. How are we going to use our dominion in order to serve each others in better and more magnificent ways? You are powerfully you, and you get to decide how you use it. Use it to be a better you and to help others. Thank you for listening.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you so much, Reverend Dr. Paul Hasselbeck. We are blessed to have you share your message with us. We are all blessed here at Unity of Wichita. So if you are so moved to give a tithe or an offering, we invite you to go to the website, www.unityofwichita.org/donations, for a secure financial donation that will also be in the chat box. You can also send a check directly to the church, Unity of Wichita, 2160 North Oliver, Wichita, Kansas, 67208, or bring it by yourself in person to the building during regular office hours. Whatever amount you are guided to give, just hold that over your heart, visualize your electronic tithe, and let's say together our offering blessing on screen. Divine love flowing from me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I give, all that I receive, and I am grateful. Amen.
Thank you, Miss Patty. And just thank you guys. Next week, you can just drop it in the offering plate. Isn't that exciting? Okay, so next week, Refresh, Renew, Reopen. That is the event of coming back together, face to face. We can see each other's eyeballs. Some of us are going to just explode. Maybe. I don't know. I might. Watch out. But 10 a.m. Sunday morning. Now, you guys know this is happening. You know it's coming up. And so here's a question for you. Who wants a sneak peek? Do you want a sneak peek? Joe wants a sneak peek. So what that means is that if you would like to see what's going on, what's been happening at Unity of Wichita and the physical presence, you might want to stop by this week. You might want to come by, maybe even help us do a couple of things, some last minute details. Have you seen those shows on Home and Garden Network and things like that, where they redecorate a house and all of a sudden you see the last little bit and everybody's running around like crazy, putting pictures up and tacking that in and putting flowers out and all those crazy little details? That's going to be next week. So if you want to come and help, come join us. We would love to have you there. And so also, we want to remember those kiddos. And guess who will be at the church on Sunday morning? We're going to get to see those kiddos again too. I'm so excited. So when we see all those little kiddos, they're going to be going to the youth department that has had a little bit of a makeover as well. Kelly has been spending so much time and energy getting it ready, organized, prepared, ready to safely reopen. And so we want to hold Kelly, Wilma, Judith, and Vicky, all those people who have been working so hard to support our community and our youth department as we bless them together. We love you. We bless you. We appreciate you. And we behold the Christ as you, just as you are. And with that, I invite Mr. Art Handy to return and bring us to our close.
And we behold the Christ as you big kids, just as you are. Thank you all so much for joining us. And as I always say, you are the Sunday experience. Now we will lovingly affirm our prayer of protection, and we'll move into the energy of peace that is all around us. The prayer is there on the monitor. Let us get centered in our center and affirm this prayer together. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is. All is well. Wherever we are, God is. And all is well. Certainly well. And with this knowing and in this awareness, let us affirm. I am peace. I am peace. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin in me, from me, through me, and as me. And so it is. Blessings to you all.